I recently had a conversation with one of Jehovah's Witnesses on this subject. Um, did Jehovah know that Adam would sin? Jehovah's Witnesses take a lot of pride in telling people about God's original purpose for the earth. They claim that Jehovah's original purpose was for humans to live forever on the earth. That it was never God's intention for wickedness, suffering, or growing old and dying. It's as if Jehovah was thrown into a bad situation that he used his infinite wisdom to fix, to amend, with providing his son Jesus Christ as a ransom. They claim that if Jehovah knew the outcome of this test of Adam and Eve, that would make God responsible for all the sin and evil. This is found in their book, The Reasoning from the Scriptures, under the subject of fate. There were 3 points that I was able to drive home with this Jehovah's Witness I was speaking with, and I wanted to share them with you because maybe you will be speaking with Jehovah's Witnesses in the future, and this might give you some ideas to talk to them about. The first point that I made with this gentleman, he agreed with me, and that was, it would be irresponsible, unwise, and unloving if Jehovah wasn't prepared for both possible outcomes with regards to Adam and Eve. There was only 2 outcomes. They were either going to be obedient or they were going to be disobedient. The question is, was Jehovah prepared for both outcomes? Most Jehovah's Witnesses don't think of it that way. So they'll probably think twice if you ask them this question. Because they can't say Jehovah wasn't prepared. Jehovah founded the earth, founded the universe with wisdom and understanding. Those are the foundations. That's something that's echoed in many scriptures throughout the Bible, the Psalms, the Proverbs, that Jehovah founded the earth in wisdom. Would it be wise for Jehovah to create a situation giving all these people, millions, billions of spirit persons, free will, and not being prepared for them to misuse their free will? Think about, like, when you have teenagers. Even if this perfect scenario that Jehovah's Witnesses create, where this original purpose, this original plan that they say was put on hold, that needed to be amended. Let's say everything went perfectly the way Jehovah's Witnesses try to call it the original purpose. Let's say the original purpose happened. Okay. And Adam and Eve have children. These children are going to grow up. What do teenagers do when they grow up? They test their boundaries. See, Jehovah's Witnesses have this idea of the universal sovereignty issue. They say that Satan raised these issues. Okay, there's really only a few places where Satan's making accusations, where it's only really clear in the Bible book of Job where Satan is accusing Jehovah, and he's accusing Job. He's basically, he says, is it for nothing? Is it for nothing that Job fears you? All right, so he's attacking Job's integrity. Jehovah's Witnesses say, it's more implied in the Garden of Eden. It's nothing really spoken. So Jehovah's Witnesses say that there was accusations before, he attacked Adam and Eve. The issues they present is Jehovah exercising the sovereignty in the best way for his subjects? Is he is he the rightful sovereign, and does he exercise his sovereignty in the best possible interest of his subjects? In the Bible book of Job, he's attacking Job. He's saying, you're serving for selfish reasons. But when you look at the situation really closely, is Satan raising those issues? Whether or not Satan raises those issues, free will raises those issues, right? Those are issues that are going to raise themselves. Every person, spirit or human, granted free will as a creation, is going to, if they are a thinking person, which we are, is going to wonder, am I being told? Is Jehovah exercising his sovereignty in my best interest? That's a question of every free moral agent, whether the devil raises this or not. That is a question. Jehovah is a God who does not shield his subjects from the consequences of their actions and other people's actions. He allows things to play out. He allows us to see the consequences of our actions. We can see if Jehovah is lying or telling the truth. In a perfect world, would every teenager be submitting to their parents? The second point I made with this gentleman, I asked him this question. We were talking about Satan being the ruler of the world. Okay. It's pretty much established in the Bible, undisputably, Satan is the ruler of the world. Jesus said it. Matthew 4 verse 10. Satan offers Christ all the kingdoms of the world if he does an act of worship. Jehovah gave Satan authority over the world. The whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one. The Bible also says Satan has blinded the minds of the unbelievers. He's misleading the entire inhabited earth. The world is in darkness. A question to ask Jehovah's Witnesses, something they don't think about. At what point did Satan become the ruler of the world? At what point did Jehovah give him this authority and say, okay, it's official. You are the ruler of the world? When? This Jehovah's Witness couldn't answer that question. I'd be surprised if any of them could. So I said, okay, let's go back to the Garden of Eden. Was Satan granted authority before he approached Eve? The Bible isn't clear on that. After Satan and Eve rebelled, rejected the sovereignty of God, Jehovah gave them their punishment, and he made the prophecy about the seed of the woman, the seed of the devil. They would be at enmity with one another. This is the point where Jehovah's Witnesses say the new arrangement comes into effect. That Jehovah is making the amendment now. Jesus is going to fix things. Jehovah is foretelling the future. How many years before Christ came to the earth? 4,000 years? And then another 2,000, 3,000 years before the end of the 1,000-year reign, where Satan would crush Satan, bruise him in the head, 7,000 years in advance. All these things had to play out now. Jehovah says, so my word that goes forth from my mouth will prove to be. It will not return to me without results. The third thing I looked at with this Jehovah's Witness, the Bible book of Revelation, chapter 7. Revelation written by John 2,000 years before we were in the Lord's day. Jehovah says that a great crowd out of all nations are going to survive the Great Tribulation, wash their robes white in the blood of the Lamb. $144,000 co-rulers with Jesus Christ in heaven as a priest. So Jehovah's Witnesses say, in the case of Adam and Eve, Jehovah did not know the outcome. He didn't know whether or not Adam and Eve were going to be faithful. But yet, in the last days, Jehovah has foretold the majority of humankind would be joining Satan in rebellion. Okay? But a great crowd, at the end of the world, a great crowd is going to be righteous enough to come out of the Great Tribulation, and 144,000 of people are going to be exercising their free will in a righteous way. How does Jehovah know when all potential, according to Jehovah's Witnesses, the future is wide open? We have free will, right? The choice is ours. He didn't know Adam and Eve were going to be faithful or unfaithful. This is almost like a surprise that Jehovah had to solve. Satan is the ruler of the world. The point I told the Jehovah's Witness was Satan is only powerful if he is empowered. If the majority of human beings were using their free will to submit to Jehovah's sovereignty, the devil would be powerless. If there was more righteous people in the world, Satan would be weak. He's only powerful if people are joining his side. Jesus Christ foretold in Matthew chapter 24 that people would be taking no note before the end of the world. They will be being given in marriage, just like the days of Noah. They didn't listen to Noah, and the flood swept them all away. So the presence of the Son of Man will be. They'll be eating and drinking. They will take no note. How did Jehovah know thousands of years in advance, before these humans are even born, that the majority of humankind would be empowering Satan, would be misled by the devil, would be in this world of darkness? How did he know that a great crowd would exercise their free will to be righteous and survive? Not only that, but all the drama in Revelation, where, Revelation chapter 12, where the seed of the woman is being attacked. All these things were written thousands of years in advance. And yet, Jehovah's Witnesses will claim Jehovah did not know that Adam and Eve would sin, because it would make him responsible for all the evil that happened. Does that make sense?